I told you all of you to start practicing simultaneously in whichever software it's possible. For example, we had our studio software which was running on our computer, and another way also I told you, if you don't want to install anything, you can always start on the cloud. So again, I'll show you. You can just go on your cloud, you can log in, and then we will start the further commands. So for going to cloud, what you can do, you can just go here, and here you can write RStudio Cloud, and then you can click on this, right? You can just open it. So it will open this particular page. Then after this, you can click on this login. Then it will ask you for sign up. Okay, but if you have your Gmail account, you can click on this and you can just log into this particular cloud. So after login it, you will get let me log in and then show you. So if you click on this, it will ask you for various options, and then you can just log in. So after logging in, you will get this particular page, right? You will get this particular page, and this page will open on RStudio Cloud. And if you see here, a lot of stuff I have already done. What you can do, you can just click on this new project. Okay, you can click on this new project, and then it will open a new project for all of you where we can practice it. So it will look exactly similar to our RStudio software. Okay, whether you have, if you install that particular software on your machine, then also it's good. Otherwise, if you not install it, then you can come over here on this Google, on this RStudio Cloud, and you can perform your task. So the internet is a little bit slow, that's why I'm not getting this particular page very fast. But if you have proper internet, then definitely will get this page within, within fraction of second. So you will get this kind of GUI, right? Now here, if you see, there are three windows are there. So this is first window, this is second and third window. You just click on this particular square button over here which is shown. So if you click on this, you will get one more window open. Okay, you will get this particular window. So in this window we can just write the commands or script. This is called as the script window. This is our console window or terminal window where we can fire the commands. And then this particular window is called as what, environment window, where whatever variables and different stuffs will be creating, that will be temporarily will be stored in this particular environment window. You can also see the history and all, right, whatever commands will be firing. And this is your file window where your all the stuffs will get stored, right? So yesterday I explained you about all these things, and also we have covered two three topics. Then now we can move ahead and we can start with the further topic. So for my demonstration purpose, I'm just demonstrating on my R Studio software. So for going to R Studio software, what you can do, you can just type here RStudio, and you will get, if you install this RStudio software, you will get this particular icon over here, and you can just click on this. So it will open this particular software. So if you see, this is my RStudio software which is running on my machine, but it's looking exactly similar to this R Cloud which is running on the browser. Okay, so on whatever platform you want to perform, choice is up to you. Okay, so let's go here and let's start with the R object type data. So the first data which first type which we will going to cover, that is a vector. Okay, and why vector is used. So for example, suppose you want to store a list of numbers, right, collection of numbers or collection of some other names, right? So if similar kind of data you want to store at one particular place, so you can always go for the vector, and you can create a vector of numbers, right? So multiple numbers you can store at stored at one particular place. So how to create that vector? So there is one example. Let's say suppose I'm taking one variable as x. So this is my x variable, and then with the help of arrow, I told you yesterday that we can use, I mean on Thursday session, that with the help of arrow also we can put, or you can also use equal to sign at this particular place, right? So most people they follow this particular notation in our language. So both have the same meaning. Either you use arrow or you can use equal to. Now I am saying x is equal to the C function. Okay, so I am using one C function. This is my C function. So this is called as the create function. Okay, create function which will create a vector of all these numbers, right? So this function will create a vector of all these numbers, and which has how many elements? Just check: one, two, three, four, five, and six elements. So the first element is 1, second element minus 2, third 5.3, then fourth 6, then the next one is minus 20, and the 4. So now I want to run this. I've written x arrow c, and then inside the bracket c function I've used. Inside the bracket I have given number of elements, right? And then at this particular place my cursor is there. Even if it's there, no problem, you can just press control and enter. So I am saying control enter. Okay, and if you see here, this command is being executed. Let me just drag this window a little bit above. Yeah, and I'll just clear this my screen. So to clear the screen, I told you one command, that is control L. You can just press control L simultaneously and it will clear your screen. So I have pressed control L and I got cleared my this particular window, right? This is my command or terminal window. Now what I can do, I'll run again this particular line. So I'll say over here control enter, control enter. So if you see, this command is being executed, and we got this vector created, numeric vector. Now what we can do, let's print this. So I've called this particular function print function. In that I've passed x variable, and the value of this x is being printed on the screen, right? Now this is which kind of vector is created. This vector is of numeric vector, because all the numbers I've included. And I told you that whenever we will create with the numbers, okay, by default it will be a numeric data type. Okay, if you want to create a vector for integer type, then you will have to explicitly mention L after this particular number. After every number you will have to write capital L. But since simply you have written numbers, so this will create a numeric kind of vector. And then after that you can print the data. Now let's say, so this was the example of a numeric kind of data. I'm getting some noise.
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So this is a numeric kind of a vector. Now let's suppose I want to create a character kind of vector. I told you that a vector is a kind of data type which has only similar type of data elements. So if you see here, all the elements are similar. Okay, there is no character is involved in this particular data. Only the numbers are involved, and by default all the numbers are numeric type of data. Now suppose I want to create a character kind of vector. So I can issue the command like this. Let's say y variable I am creating, and in that I'm using this C function. With the help of C function, I'm passing three elements. So the first element I'm writing, that is sun, then Sunday, then Monday, and then Tuesday, right? So sun, mon, and tu. And if you want to, pass a character kind of data, you can include either in single quotes or double quotes, right? It's up to you. So this is included in the double quotes, and then you can run this particular line. So after running this, if you see here, okay, if you see here, a y vector is created. Okay, this command is being run. Now if I want to print what data is being stored in the y, then I will enter this one. If you see in the y, we are having these three data elements. Okay, so this vector is of type what? Character. So we have learned how to create a vector, numeric vector, and then how to create a character vector. Then let's see how to create a logical kind of vector. So the logical kind of vector you can create, you can just pass true false values. Okay, you can use the concatenate to create function, and then you can just execute this one, and then the screen, so you will get the data. So the idea is it's simple. Whichever kind of vector you want to create, okay, what you are supposed to do, you need one variable, and then on the right hand side you can just use create function, the C function, and in the bracket, round bracket, okay, in the round bracket pass different set of values. But please remember, you need to pass similar kind of data elements. So either you pass character kind of data, or no, number kind of data, or specifically integer kind of data, whichever you want to create a vector type, you just pass that kind of data, and then your vector will be created. Okay, so now suppose I am having this particular vector, right? So let's say, okay, let me go ahead, and yeah, so suppose I am having this particular vector where I am creating a vector of January, February, March, April, so all different month names are there. So let me create this first. So I'll run this. Kavita ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Okay,
Your
so
screen, yeah, your screen is not visible, sir.
no, somebody was doing annotation over there.
Annotation.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do
So
this.
such kind of thing, I mean, we cannot tolerate. I mean, if this kind of
Yeah,
thing will
yeah.
happen.
Don't annotate the screen.
So that's why I this thing in the security, I'm making that particular arrangement.
Mhm.
Let me share this again.
Sir, annotate setting off करो.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So I was explaining you about this accessing vector elements by using the position. So for that, let's say suppose I'm creating a vector of different kinds of month name. So I'll create this first. Now the different month name vector is created. Now let's try to print that first. So I'll say X. So if you see here, a vector of different month is created, month name. Now, suppose I want to print one particular element from this entire vector, right? So I want to access vector element. So how we can do that? So you can easily do that by indexing. What you can do, for example, suppose I've written over here y is equal to x, and in the create function I have given what, 5. So that means the fifth element it will give me. So let's run this. So if you see here, I got May, and if you just count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you will get this fifth element. So by using this kind of notation, you can just access a particular vector element from the vector list. So for example, suppose I want to access, copy this. So let's say I want to access third element. So I'll write over here 3. I'll just run this, and then let me print again y. uh, this way. Yeah. Okay, it's giving me 3 elements. Let me comment this again, run this. Okay, and then let me run this. So concatenation will give you, for example, if you run this particular line where we can mention 2 3 6, then this kind of statement will give you combination of different elements. For example, if I run this 2 3 6, and then if I print, yeah, so this will give me a February, March, and June, because the second element is what, Feb over here, and the third is March, and then the sixth element. So sixth element is what, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Six is June, so it will print June for me. So if you want multiple elements together, you can just use the concatenation in the C function, or in the C function is also called concatenate function or create function. So in the C function, you can just pass different list of numbers, and that particular index elements will be accessed. Okay, now what I will suggest you, all of you just create one vector. Okay, all of you just create one vector of let's say numeric type. Okay, numeric type of 6 elements, and then just try to print. So vector numbers I am giving, the different numbers I am giving. So let's say the first element will be 12, then 15, then 17, 3, 5, 8. Okay, so these are the different set of elements. Now I want you to create a vector with this particular set of elements, and then you just access the third element, just access the third element from this particular vector list. And the second question is, you can access the combination of fifth and sixth element. So just try to perform this, at least create a vector with this particular different elements, and then try to show that particular vector. So I'm just giving you 3 4 minutes time, and then in that period you should able to create this particular stuff. So for vector, I told you the notations are like this. Okay, you can take one variable, and on the right hand side you can use concatenate function, and you can pass different elements in that particular function. It will create the vector. Okay, vector with that many number list. If done, then let me know. Yeah, go ahead, Basi. So you can just write in chat if you can hear me, if you have anything. Can you put your queries in this chat box? So what you can do, you can create a vector. Okay, so this question I asked, you can create vector with a different set of elements, right? And with the help of that C function, and then after that you can just print that particular variable, and you will get that.
Yes,
Anybody is asking anything,
yeah, somebody is asking something.
but I didn't hear. I didn't
Hmm,
get the voice.
yeah. Basir,
Basir.
Basir, do you have any doubt? Please write in the chat box.
I think chat is disabled
Chat is disabled.
and they are not able to unmute also.
Oh,
I have unmuted them.
so let me just check with the chat.
Chat. Now just see.
I am host. Oh, okay, you are host.
Yeah. Just check. Can you? Now
Okay.
you can write your query in the chat box. Yeah.
Okay, now it's working. Okay, so we can proceed now.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. I'll just comment this line. Now, if we will write this kind of statement, okay, for example, -2 comma -5, then it will remove that second line and a second column, a second element and the fifth element from entire vector list. So for this one, again, I will run that x vector. So let me take this one. Okay. So I've created vector again with different month names. And then if I'll run this particular command where in the t variable I just want in the entire set, but this to be removed, then run this and let's print. So if you see here, it has printed Jan, March, April, June, and July. So if you see the elements over here, the second element was March, sorry, Feb, and the fifth element, so for 1 2 3 4 5, fifth element was May. So if you see here, when we wrote this thing, C minus 2 comma minus 5, so it removed a Feb, that is the second element, and the fifth element from this entire vector, and then it's stored inside this T. So this is how, if you want to remove certain elements from the vector, you can just give the index of that with the minus sign. So that is important. If you don't put the minus sign, then it will include only those elements and it will print, right? But if you put the minus sign, then it will just remove that particular element from the entire vector. Okay. After that, let's see whether arithmetics are also possible with the help of vector. Yes, it is possible. You can do all your addition, subtraction, multiplication, everything with the help of vector. So for that purpose, let's take two vectors. Okay. So the first vector which I'm taking, that is v1, and in this I'm having the elements like 1, 2, then 4, 5, 7, and 11. So total how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 elements are there in the first vector. And then in v2 I'm taking 12, 4, 3, 8, 1, and 21. So in v2 I'm having again 6 elements. So let's run one by them, one by one. So first vector I am creating with the 6 element with the help of C function. Okay. Let me clear this particular screen. So I am pressing Ctrl L. So it is got clear my screen. Then I am running this. I am creating the vector 1. Okay. So if you want to print that vector 1, so you can just write v1 over here, and you will get this vector. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 11. Now let's create vector 2, v2. So v2, and let's print this. So v2 got printed, and that is 12, 4, 3, 8, 1, and 21. So two vectors we have taken. Why we have taken two vectors? To perform different arithmetic operations. Arithmetic operation means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all this kind of operation. So the first operation is arithmetic operation. So I've taken one add variable. Okay, in the add variable, with the help of this arrow sign, I am just adding two vectors v1 and v2, and then I'm storing this value inside this add variable, right? So let's see how this operation will going to be performed. I'll run this, and then after this I'll just print the value of add. So in the print function I've given this add. Okay, if you see, the addition is what? 13, 6, 7. So how the addition took place? Addition will take place element by element. So the first element of vector 1 is 1. The first element of vector 2 is 12. So it will be added 12 plus 1, that is 13, right? So if you see over here, it's 13. Then 4 plus 2 is 6. So 6, if you see over here, it's 6, right? 4 plus 3, 7. So the addition will take place element by element, right? So in the similar way, we can also perform subtraction. So for subtraction, we will again take the same vectors v1 and v2. In place of plus, just we have put over there minus sign. So in the left hand side, I've taken one sub variable. In the sub variable, I'm trying to put the value of v1 minus v2. So let's run this. So sub v1 minus v2. Now let's try to print the value of this sub variable. So if you just check the value of the sub variable, we got minus 11, minus 2, 1, minus 3. So let's try to verify whether we have got proper or not. So minus 11, how we got minus 11? Because if you try to subtract 1 minus 12, so you will get what? Minus 11, right? So again, exactly in similar way, the way addition took place, the subtraction will also take place element by element. Okay. And so the 1 minus 12 will be what? Minus 11. Then 2 minus 4 will be what? Minus 2. So we got over here minus 2. Then 4 minus 3, we will get here what? 1, right? So element by element operation will take place and subtraction will happen. Now similarly, let's check for the multiplication. So for multiplication, we will use what sign? The star sign. and let's check it. And I've taken one mul mul variable. In that I'm trying to put the multiplication of both the vectors. So I multiply it and I try to print the values. And if I try to print the values, let me Habibi raise the hand. Habibi, you want to ask anything? You can just put in the chat box. Can you write Habibi in the chat box so that we can see? Chat is enabled, so I think everybody will be able to write in the chat box. So if you have anything, you can just write in the chat box so that we can read. Or if you don't have any doubt, then we can proceed now. Okay. So I was talking about this multiplication, and in the multiplication variable, I what I did v1 into v2, and then okay. So Bashir has asked, in mine all windows are empty. So all windows are empty. Where you are seeing exactly? So are you working on RStudio Cloud or RStudio software on your machine? So that is the main thing. And anyway, if you're doing on RStudio Cloud also, then also you're supposed to see the windows. Okay. Yeah, so if you're getting this thing nothing over there, so let me show you my this cloud. Okay, this is my cloud. I'm not showing you on this particular cloud because I'm having the standalone software, right? So I'm running that particular software on on my machine. Clear? But if you have not installed the software, doesn't matter, you can run this particular entire thing in this cloud. And if you are doing the first time in this and if you're doing the first time on this particular cloud, obviously we're not going to see anything, right? So if you see here, even my cloud it's not having anything. The global environment is totally empty, right? The script window is empty over here. And then if you see the file window, in the file window I am having only two stuff, that is project.r project and this one. So basically the cloud will give you one project directory, and in that particular directory, if you want, you can create your own folders. You can upload your files on this particular project folder, right? So everything will go in this particular project folder. And uh, on Thursday I told you that that will be set as your current working directory. And how to set the current working directory, so that will be set as a current working directory, and whatever stuffs you want to put, you can put in that. Or if you want to set some other directory as a current working directory, then also you'll be able to do it. But the idea is whatever things you'll be doing, that will go inside this project folder. And from here you can write, for example, here if you want, you can put the values, right? So if you leave this particular cloud for more time, and if you not do anything, then your connection may be terminated. So for example, here it happened, my connection is terminated now, so I'll have to again log in on this particular cloud. Okay, so it's up to you whether you want to do on software or on cloud. But if you don't want to install any software, it's good, doesn't matter, you can always perform the experiments on this cloud. Clear? So let's go to the software. I hope the doubt is cleared. Let me check the chat. Yes, worked but not succeed. So may I know what it? Yes, I use RStudio Cloud. Okay. Yeah. So on RStudio Cloud, you will not see much stuff because unless until you will store over there, you will not going to see anything, right? whatever stuffs you'll be uploading over there, those stuffs will be seeing. So that is the idea. Unless until you will upload the folders or files over there, you will not be able to see. Yeah. Okay. Then multiplication I was showing, and in the multiplication we can write like this: v1 into v2, and then we can print multiplication variable. So let me execute this, and you will get this kind of number. Let's say 12, 8, 12, 40, and 7. So again the multiplication will take place element by element. Okay, so we had two vectors, so 12 into 1. Okay, 12 into 1, that is 12, so you are getting 12 answer. Then 2 into 4, you are getting 8. 4 into 3, 12. So element by element multiplication you are getting. So let's see the division. Again, division will be your element by element. Yeah. So most of you are using RStudio Cloud. Doesn't matter. Very good. Okay. The thing is you just check whether you are able to do it on that, right? I mean, it should work. So exactly the way I'm working over here on my RStudio software, it will work exactly over there. So you should not get any problem on RStudio Cloud also. Smoothly it should work. So I don't think any problem you will face while working on RStudio Cloud. So if you want to clean your screen, for example, this screen, if you want to clean this console one, so you can just you can type this particular command also, cat, and then in the code you can write 014, cat 014. If you'll enter, it will clear your screen. Cat, then slash 014. And from here, this global environment also you can delete, right? So if you want to clear this one, for example, a variable by variable, then there is one command rm, and you can remove. Let's say I want to remove this I, so I can just write over here I, and if you see, now that I got deleted. Okay, let's say suppose I want to delete this div from here, so I'll say rm div, and I'll enter. Now if you check that div got deleted from this particular window. I have so poor internet connection, it is so bad. Okay, so yeah, that problem you may be facing, maybe because many of you might be not having proper internet connection. Yeah, so if the internet connection is not proper, then cloud will not going to work properly. Okay, that thing is there. And if you are having a software installed on your machine, then it will not require the, I mean, internet, and it will work properly. Okay, you should come to course. Okay, now, so let's go ahead, and we saw how to create a different kind of vectors like character vector, numeric vector. I think, yeah, Bashir, no problem. If you download it, you can install it later, doesn't matter. And if you want, you can install it now also. And if your internet connection is good, then you can go ahead with you can go ahead with the cloud. So now I will take a chat, I mean the questions later, and then let's cover a little bit stuff, and then we, after some time, then we can take the question. So now let's see how we can do the sorting inside a vector, right? So for that, let's say I've created one vector. So numerical vector I've created as v1. Okay, so v1 vector I've created with different set of elements. So c 1 2 4 5 7 11. Let me run this. So if I've run this, I got this vector created. And after this there is one sort function. Okay, and you can say sort v1, which will going to sort your this particular vector. I'll just say control enter, and it has sorted. So by default it has sorted in ascending order. Okay, and even the vector was there in that particular order only. Now if I want to sort this in descending order, right? For example, if the first element to be printed as what, 11, then 7, then 5, 4 and 2 and 1, right? So that is called as the descending order, and that is a decreasing order or descending order. So if I want to print in that particular order, what I can do, I can write the same function in this particular way. So sort function v1 comma, then decreasing, I am saying true. So when I'm saying decreasing equal to true, this will sort in descending order, right? So let's run this and try to print. Okay, so it has shown the values also. If you see here, this is 11 7 5 4 2 1, right? So this got sorted in descending order, and if you simply use sort function, then by default it will going to sort in ascending order. And for sorting in descending order, you will have to write decreasing equal to true. So this will going to sort in descending order. This was about the numerical type of data. And if you are having character type, character kind of data, that also you can sort. So let's suppose I am having a character kind of data. V2 is equal to the vector is created with these kind of characters like cherry, blueberry, apple, and pineapple. So this is my character type data. Now, if I want to sort them, so let me run this, and if I use the sort function without this particular option, decrease equal to true. So without this particular option, if I want to sort this, it will sort in ascending order. So basically it will sort in alphabetical order. Okay, and if I will use this decreasing equal to true, then it will going to sort in reverse alphabetical order. So what do you mean by alphabetical order? That means a letter word will come first, then the b letter word will come first, in that way. So if I try to print this, so if you see here, apple is coming first, then blueberry, since it's starting with B, so it's coming next. Then cherry, since starting with C, right? Then pineapple, starting with P. So it will going to print in alphabetical order if you don't write decreasing equal to true. But if you write decreasing equal to true, and then it will going to sort in descending order. So the last element which is coming as a first, that is pineapple. Okay, so p is the letter which comes after all these letters. That's why it's coming as first. Okay, so this was about the vector, right? And so what I will suggest that you take two vector. Okay, you take two vector, and I'm giving that particular thing. For example, v1 you take, and you store different elements like, let's say, 10, 5, then 2, then 7, and then 9. And the second vector you take, okay, you take 11, then you take 4, you take 3, you take 5, and you take 8. So two vector you take, and then just try to perform different operations, arithmetic operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then one more operation you try to perform, that is sorting operation on V1 and V2. Both sort in ascending order as well as in descending order. So 5-10 minutes break I am giving, and just try to solve this particular problem. And after that, if you have any doubt in this, you can ask me. You can post your answer in the chat box if you're done. If you're done, you can just post your answer. You can say that you have completed. So it's very simple question. Just take two vector and do perform the different operations. So you can perform, you can add, subtract, okay, multiply, then divide, and then do the sorting operation on these two vectors. So I'm giving you 5-10 minutes time. You just complete it. Those who are completed can show your, can post your answer and in the chat box so that I can see whether you completed properly or not. So this is a question I am giving. Okay, I have not written any program. This is question I have given, and I am telling you to perform different tasks. Perform addition, multiplication, division, and sorting on these two vectors. Okay, so this question I am giving, and you all are supposed to do this one, and then perform this operation and post your answer in the chat box so that I can confirm that yeah, you are with me, and then we can go ahead. Take your time, 5-10 minutes, and just perform this task. Yeah, very good, Nasir. Very good, Nasir. Nasir, if you want to ask anything, you can just write in the chat box if you want to ask anything. Otherwise, you're done properly. Very good, very good, very good. So the way, yeah, Mustafa, very good. So all of you are doing few more. If you can just post, just practice. Make sure that you are practicing, and definitely you will learn this particular R programming very well. Only starting, if you just put your efforts, then definitely you will be able to do nice. All of you completed, or you want some more time to complete it? How to put the comment? You can just put over here hash sign. Okay, so this is a hash sign. If you just put one hash sign, the entire line will be commented. So what do you mean by comment? A comment is a line which your this compiler will going to, or interpreter will going to ignore it. So basically, while execution, this will not participate. Okay, so comment is that kind of line, and comment is very very important. Uh, there are two main purposes of the comment. The first main purpose of the comment is, see, whatever stuff we are doing, let's say, suppose we are writing 1,000 lines of code. Okay, we are creating one project, and the project involves so many lines of code, and we will go on creating a different kind of variables, right? And then if we will not going to comment it, if we will not going to comment it, then we will not come to know for what purpose this variable we are creating. I mean, right, at that particular instant you will come to know. But let's say, suppose after 1 week you are coming to the same program back, then you will take your own time, right? You will try to realize for what purpose I had created that particular variable. So it will unnecessary, it will consume your time, and you should not waste your time, no, on that, on this kind of stuff. So once, see, already you wasted your time while writing that particular program. Okay, you already already created so many things, and then again after some days again you will come back, and again you will be wasting your time just thinking, well, for what purpose you created that particular variable. So it's always welcome to write the comment for every line, so that you can realize that the comments are what, I mean, you can realize that for what particular purpose you created that variable, right? So for example, suppose I'm writing here add, right? So I'm saying here add 5 plus 3. So add variable I'm creating, and where I'm doing the addition of 5 plus 3. So I'll be writing over here that addition addition purpose. Okay, so since this variable I created for addition purpose, I have given the name as what, add. And by reading this command, even though my lines are 2,000 lines of code, but by reading at this particular command, I will always come to know that for what purpose I had created this particular variable, right? So that was the one purpose, and the second purpose is always like this. Suppose you have worked on any particular project, and that project involves lots of lines of code, and then after, let's say, 4 5 months, you are being shifted from one department to another department. Okay, and I see it always happen in the software industry. You will not going to work at one particular place. You will be allowed to, go from one project to another project. You will be assigned to different project. So once you'll finish one project, then next project will be allotted to you. And in that way what will going to happen? So in that way, what will going to happen, the new guys will going to come on that particular project, and you are being shifted to another project. And then the new guy which has just joined, suppose he will going to open your code, and not even a single line of comment you will written, then it will take lots of time for him to just realize for what purpose you had created that particular variable, okay, or for that code. So it's always welcome. You must write, you must explain your code, what logic you are writing, for what particular purpose, and which variable you are creating and for what purpose, so that whoever will come on your place, right, and that particular person will come to know. Otherwise, what that guy will do, he will just simply ring you, and you might be busy in some other project, and then he will ask you for what purpose you created this variable, that variable, for what purpose you created that particular function, right? He may ask you the logic also, and one or two times he may help that particular person, but that will not be the case always, because you also have your own assignments to do, and every time you cannot help that particular guy, and ultimately you are putting somebody other in trouble. So never put other people in trouble, okay? So just think about others also, and from your side, you should do properly so that others will not face their trouble. Okay, so that for that purpose, we write the comments, and I think most of you might have done. So those who have done, please, in the chat box, just say yes, so that I will come to know that all have done. Just write in the chat box yes. So there are 17, 18 people. So just write in the chat box yes, so I'll come to know that you have done, and then we can go ahead. Basir has completed, very good. What about others? So if you're not completed, you can say no also over there. If you're not saying yes, then you can also say no, so that if you want some more time, I can give you. Hello, Kavita ma'am, are you there? Tina ma'am?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
So I think for only two, three people have replied. I don't know whether all are completing or what. I'm not getting the
Present.
status. Yeah, whether people are present or they are not there. Yeah, so please put the comment so that I can realize, yeah, people are there and then they're doing and they're completing it.
All of you kindly just mark your attendance in the chat box. Just write yes if you're there.
It will also be considered for your attendance, so please write over there yes. Okay. Amir, are you there? Amir? Okay. Amir is there. Amir, last time also you got attendance for how many students? 11 students. So you took attendance at the start or at the end, Amir? Okay, okay. So that's what happened. See, in the last session, there was no student at the end, and you got 11 student present, right? So if you send on the group, anybody can mark the attendance. Okay. So this was about a vector, right? And then let's proceed to the next data type. So let's see. There are lots of data types like this, like list, matrix. So let's see one by one. For example, let's see this matrix data type and how to create the matrix. So for creating the matrix, right, what we can use the say function again. So I'm writing this particular way. uh, I'm, I'm assigned to m variable, and I've written matrix c. C is a what? Create function. So 3 colon 14. So it will going to use for numbers from 3 to 14. Okay. And then I'm specifying the number of rows is equal to 4. So I'm giving the number of row as 4. Let me run this. So I have run this, and after that I'll going to print this m. So if you see here, the matrix is printed, and what numbers it has taken the numbers from 3 to 14, right? So 3 4 5. If you see here, 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 and 14. So basically it has taken the number in the range from 3 to 14. And we have done what? By row is equal to, we have done as what? True. So then it will going to lay down the elements in row wise. Okay. And that number of rows which I've specified, that is 4. Okay. So if you just count the number of elements, so that will come out to be 12. And that's why we will going to create number of rows as 4. So three elements it will lay down. And if we lay down the elements row wise, so first it will try to fill the first row, and then it will go to the second row, and then the third row. So that's why if you see, the numbers are laid down row wise: 3 4 5, then 6 7 8. So this is the meaning of by row is equal to true. Okay. Similarly, if you see this one, the same matrix I'm creating, that is 3 to 14. So it will going to use the numbers in that range only. N row is equal to 4 specified. That means the number of rows is what? 4. And by row I am saying as what? False. So here the by row I have done as false. And then now I will going to print. So since by row I have written as false, then it will going to lay down the elements not row wise. Okay. So if you see here, 3 4 5 6, it's a column wise, right? 3 4 5 6, then 7 8 9. So first it will fill all the rows in column, and then again then it will go to the next column. So it will not going to print the elements row wise. Row wise means first it will going to print all the elements in the row, then it will go and it will jump to the next row. So it's filling. in this particular fashion. So this is the basic difference between by row is equal to true and by row is equal to false. And then if you want to check the number of rows in that matrix M, then there is a function n row you can call, and you can pass that particular matrix to that, and you will get the number of rows. Similarly, if you want to calculate the number of columns in that matrix, you can say number of column n call, and you can pass m variable in that particular function. You will get the number of columns. So let me run this n row m, and then see here it's showing me what 4. So the total number of rows are what 4. Similarly, if I say n call m, so it will going to calculate the number of columns. So number of columns is equal to 3. Okay, and then let's say now if you see here this particular matrix, it is not having any names, right? For example, these columns are there, but what is the names of those columns, and then what is the names of these rows? So if you want to put the names also, okay, that is also possible. So that purpose for that purpose, we can execute this. Let's say row names I've given as row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. And column names I've given as what? Column 1, column 2, column 3. Then in the p variable, what I'm saying, I'm taking that particular matrix in the range of 3 to 14. Then I'm saying number of rows equal to 4. So basically I'm trying to create a matrix with these many number of rows, and the elements range I've given as what? 3 to 14. By row I've done what? True. That means it will lay down the elements row wise. And dimension names, so it's dim names I've done as what? A list of row names comma column name. So basically it will select this particular list as a name for row names, and this particular list for the column name. So it will going to assign the names to the rows and the columns, and that names we have already taken over here, right? We have given the names, and we have also given the column names. So let's run this particular command. Let's run this. So if you see now, the matrix is properly labeled. Okay, matrix are properly labeled with the row 1, row 2, and all. And then and then columns are also labeled. Okay, column 1, column 2, and column 3. Clear? So in this way we can label properly the rows and columns. So again, just see here, if you want to label the rows and columns, first of all, how to create the matrix. The matrix creation is very simple. You can just use the matrix, and then here with the help of create function, you can give the range of values, and then n rows by row equal to true. That means it will going to lay down the elements row wise. By row equal to false, it will going to lay down the elements column wise. Then if you want to specify the row names and column names, you can specify row names, column names, and then with the help of this particular matrix function, again the same function, and where you can specify some few more parameters like dimension names, where you can assign the names. Okay, then now suppose I want to print. Okay, I want to print, let's say. So first let's print this one. So this matrix is this p, where we are having the column 1, column 2, column 3, and this is row 1, row 2, and row 3. Now suppose I want to, sorry, just wait. Yeah, so if I run this p of 1 comma 3, that means from the first row I want to print the third element. So let me check. From the first row, the third element is what? 5, right? So So basically this is how we can access the element. By indexing we can specify which element we want to print. And if you want to, let's say suppose you want to print this particular element, this element is there in the first row. Okay, this element is there in the first row, and which particular column. So there are three columns, 1 2 3. So this is the third column. In the third column this element is there, okay, the first element. And suppose you want to print this one, you will have to specify in the square bracket like this. So in the square bracket in p variable, what I'm typing, 1 comma 3. So 1 comma 3 means the first row, the third element. Similarly, if I say 4 comma 2, 4 comma 2, so it's giving me what, 13. Let's check 4 comma 2. So this is the fourth row, and second column is this one, 4 7 10 13. So this 13 element, right? So 4 comma 2 will give me 30, right? Now if I write like this, print p 2 comma, and then I've left it what, blank. Okay, I've not written anything. So I've written what, print p 2 comma, and then the blank option. If I'll run this, so if we check here, this is the row and this is the column number, right? So column number I have not specified anything, but the row number I have specified, that is what, second. So in the second row, if you see how many, what elements are there in the second row, 6 is there, 7 is there, and 8 is there, right? So 6 7 8, I will get this particular row. If you don't specify any column, then it will consider all the columns, and it will going to print basically all the values from different columns for that particular row. So you will get the entire row. Similarly, if we'll do like this, for example, I've not written anything in the row section, but comma, and I've written here what, 3. So let's run this. So if you run this, so we are getting what, 5, 8, 11, and 14. And if you check here, this is what the last column. If you check it properly, this is the last column, 5, 8, 11, 14. So it will give me the column. Okay, it will give me the column with all the rows. So the column values of all the rows. So the third column, and it is having in the all the rows which value, 5, 8, 11, and 14. So it will going to print in that way. Now let's do some operations. For example, matrix addition, matrix subtraction, right? So for that purpose we can take two matrices. So let's say the first matrix is this one. So if you don't want to put the range of values, you can also give the numbers over there in the create function, and then you can just specify how many rows you want. So for example, here I want 2 rows, so automatically it will divide according to that, and it will going to create. So first matrix I want mat1, I'm running this, and then matrix 2 I'm creating. This is also number of rows is 2. Then let's print both the matrices, matrix 1, matrix 2. So if you see here, the matrix 1 is what, 3 minus 1 2, and then 9 4 and 6, 2 columns. And then similarly the next matrix is what, next matrix is 5, okay, 2. So how the elements are being laid out, you might get confused. So since the number of rows are what, 2, so it will, how it the entries will take place. So if you see here, matrix C 3 9. So first element is what in the matrix 1, first element is 3, and then 9 element it will put in the next row. Then the next element it will put over here, right? And then the next element it will put in this particular place, and then 2 over here and 6 over here. See the matrix 2, 5 2 0 9 3 4. So 5 is over here, then 2, then 0, then 9, then 3 and 4. Okay, so in this way the values will be assigned. Okay, then after this, let's say suppose I want to perform the addition of both the matrices, matrix 1 and matrix 2. So it's simple. What you can do, you can first declare the two matrices, and then simply add both the matrices by plus operator. So mat1 plus mat2. So let me show you this one. In the result, I'm adding both the matrices, and then I'm printing result. So it will show me the result and how the addition took place. Addition will took place element by element. So if you see here, this is the first element is what? Here the 3, and this element is what? 5. So 5 and 3 will be added, and the first element over here in the result is what? 8. Clear? Then if you see this particular element, this is 9 and this is what? 2. So 9 to 11. So if you see here, we got over here as what? 11, right? So similarly, the addition will take place, and that is what? That is element by element. Then the subtraction is the subtraction. So let me run the subtraction and then result. Again, this subtraction will take place element by element. Okay, clear? So after this, there is a multiplication. And before multiplication, let me print again matrices, both the matrices. So mat1, mat2. Okay, mat1, mat2. So these two matrices are there. And let me show you this particular matrix 1 multiplication by matrix 2. So just put the star and you will get the multiplication. If you say this one and try to print the values, so see what values you are getting. You are getting this 15, 0, 6, 18, 36, 24. So can somebody tell whether the multiplication is proper? Okay, I had these two matrix 1, 3, minus 1 2 9 4 6, and matrix 2 5 0 3 2 9 4. And then in the matrix multiplication I got this particular stuff: 15 0 6 18 36 and 24. So whether this matrix multiplication is proper, can somebody tell me? So Hazim has asked one doubt: how if we compare these three columns or row by mean, standard, and range? So Hazim, in the few next session, you will come across a different kind of data set analysis. In that you will be taught how to do the analysis of data set. So basically in that session you will going to use your own data set. You will be uploading the data set, right? And then you will be running out different kind of tasks on the data set. You will be cleaning out the data set, and then you will be performing certain tasks like analyzing the data set and finding out the different hidden facts from the data set, right? So for that purpose you will be going to use all these things, and then you will learn properly. And this is the basic session, so I'm not covering basically those parts, but in the further ahead session definitely you will come across this and you will come to know. Okay, so this one matrix multiplication, if we check, so matrix multiplication is not proper actually, because if we simply say star sign in between both the matrices, it will going to multiply. It will going to multiply element by element. So if you check here, the first element of the matrix 1 is 3. The first element of the matrix 2 is 5. So it will just simply multiply 5 into 3, and it will give you 50. Okay. Similarly, in the matrix 1 there is -1, and in the matrix 2 there is 0. So you will get what? 0 over here. So it's doing matrix multiplication element by element, which is not proper. And what if I want a proper multiplication? So then for that purpose what you can do, you can simply use this particular sign. Okay, so what you can do, you can simply do what? A mod, then star, and then mod. So you can write this one: mod, then star, and then mod. So if you multiply by this particular operator, mod, then the mod is what? Your percent sign, then star, and then again percent sign. If you write this one, then it will going to multiply both the matrices in the matrix multiplication way, and then your answer will come proper. Okay, if you really want to perform the matrix multiplication, you can use this particular operator. Otherwise, if you simply use the star operator, then you will get element by element multiplication. Okay. Now suppose you want to take the transpose of matrix 1 and transpose. I'm sure that all of you are aware of this transpose also. So if you want to take the transpose, what do you mean by transpose? Your rows will become column and your column will become rows, right? So this is what the transpose. So if you want to take the transpose, there is a T function. Okay, T function is very important function, right? And with the help of this T function, you can get the matrix 1 transpose and the matrix 1 transpose. So simply in the T function, you pass the matrice's name and you can just get the transpose. So this T function is very important function and very easy function by which you can just get the transpose. If I want to run this, so if you see here, my rows have become now columns. So initially there were 2 rows, now I am having 3 rows, right? And the rows were 3, so now they become the column. And so the structure is changed now. Similarly, if I want to take the transpose of matrix 2, so this is my matrix 2 transpose. Simple. Now suppose I am having 2 matrices. These 2 matrices, I want to do the matrix multiplication. So I've taken this and let's perform this one with this particular operator. So this matrix multiplication is proper because I've used this operator. So please remember, if you're going to perform the matrix multiplication with this operator, then you will get proper answer, the proper matrix multiplication. Otherwise, with the star operator, you will going to get just the multiplication by what, element by element. Similarly, there is a det function which will give you the determinant of the matrix. So if you write det and that is the determinant of result, you will get what, determinant of the result, right? So this function will going to give me the determinant directly. So this is what about the entire matrix data type. So this is how we can create the matrix, and then we can give the naming also, naming to the rows, names to the column. We can access by using the indexing, right? And we can access all the rows. For example, here the second row is completely, then from the third column, I want to access third column completely, right? Then we can perform different arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, right? We can take the transpose with the help of T function. Oh, okay. And then matrix 1, matrix 2, I'm taking here multiplication with this particular operator, right? So this will give me the proper multiplication. Then for the determinant, I can use the determinant function. I can use the determinant function and I can get the determinant. So just check whether all of you are with me and you have executed it properly, and then after that we can move ahead till here whether it's done. Okay, then let's see how to create the list. Okay, list is another object type of data. So let's create a list. And what is the difference between this list and vector? In the vector we can create a similar type of data elements, but in the list we can have a dissimilar data also. So if we want to create a list, right, let's say suppose this is a numerical data as well as character data also. And this is not allowed in vector where we can have dissimilar data, but in the list it's allowed. And suppose I want the collection of dissimilar kind of data. What do you mean by dissimilar kind of data? That is data from the different types. Okay, so for example here a letter is there, that is a character, and the others are numerical data. So it's a collection of both the data, both that kind of data, and it's a list. So I want to create this. I will run this. So if you see here, this command is being executed, and if I want to print it, so print, and it has printed the first, this one is a letter, and then one, two, so all the elements it has printed, right? Similarly, let's say suppose there are two character data, red, green, and there is a one list of numerical data itself, right? And then logical data is there, true, and then other few datas are there, and I want to create a list. So it's having lots of flexibility. Inside the list we can have another list also, right? And along with that, different kinds of different types of elements can also be accumulated in one particular place. So it's very flexible, and flexibility is very good, right? We all like flexibility, right? We want the flexibility. So the flexible people are more suitable one. And if you see here, so list data I'm creating, and here two character data are there. This is one list, true, and this one is what different number data. Then print this. So let's print the list, and let's print this one. So if you see here, red, green, and then this list itself 21, 32, 11, and then the other elements. Now, what if I want to access the elements from the list? Okay, what if I want to access the element from the list? So let's say suppose I want to access the first element, then by using the indexing I can always access. So let me show you over here. So list data of one, so this will give me reds, the first element. Okay, it will give me the red. Now if I want to access the second element, so I will write like this, list data 2, so it will give me green. This is the second element. Similarly 3, 4 will give me this. Okay, so let's see the third one. If I type 3, so at the 3 there is one more list is there, and it will give me all the data of that particular list. So 21, 32, and 11, right? Okay, now suppose I want this 21 data from the third list, right? The first data, then the third list, second data, right? I want to access this data explicitly, 21, 32, and 11. So I can mention the no the in the function in this way. So I can just mention the brackets like this, where this will denote my third element, and from that I want the first element. So if I'll write this one, I'll run this. I got this what, 21. If I'll write execute this one, I will get what, 32. So the third list, from the third list I want the first one. So we will have to give the notation in this way. Remember, this notation is like this. The first element number and the list number is what, it's given in the two square bracket, and then from that the first element, second element, and third element. So here we are having the two square bracket, and there is one single square bracket. But this is what, how to access all these elements. But if you see here, it's very flexible enough to have a different kinds of data elements, even with with a different list also is being included inside this. Okay, then let me show you. Okay, So let me show you naming list elements, right? So for example, we can have a list data, and here if you see, the first list is being created, that is what January, February, and March, and then there is one matrix, right? And here we are having what, number of rows is 2, and then there is one list with green character, and then 12.3 as a number. Okay, so let me run this. So if you all can see this particular command, right? So I'm having this list data where this first list I'm creating, then the second is matrix where number of rows is 2, and then another list is there that is green 12.3. Okay, so one character is there and one numerical kind of data. So if I say 1, so 1 will give me the first list, right? If I say 1 of 1, so 1 of 1, if you see here, so from the first list, it's giving me the first element, and that is what, January, right? And 1 of 2 will give me the Feb. Okay, 1 of 2 will give me the Feb. Similarly, 1 of 3 will give me what? The next element. Then if I say the list 2 will give me that particular matrix. So if you see here, the list 2 is giving me this particular matrix. Now if I want to access this element, right? So what I can do, I can pass in this way. So this means what? From the second list, okay, from the second list, from the first row, first element, okay, from first row, first column element. So this is what the notation. This is what 1 comma 1, right? So I've written over here 1 comma 1 in the bracket, and then the first one denotes which particular list. So that's why there is a 2 square bracket. So from the list, it's a second list. It's a second list, and which element we want? We want 1 comma 1 element. Similarly, if I run this one, okay, so 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2 is your 1 comma 2. So this one your fifth, this is this element, right? And it's showing that is from the second list, 1 comma 2 element I want. So first row and the second column element I want over here. Okay, then let's say suppose I want to give the names to the elements in the list. So I can give by this way. So I can create, let's say, one names list data names function, and in that I can give the names like this first quarter matrix. So the first list I am giving as what a first quarter, because mostly the quarters are of 3 months. Okay, the first quarter, let's include January, February, and March, so that we can say as the first quarter. And then a matrix. Okay, the second list was the matrix. I'm giving just the name to the my data elements, and the third one as a inner list, so that I'm giving as a inner list name. Now let me run this and print this. If you just try to print, now it is being printed with the names. The first one it's showing it's as a first quarter, then matrix, and then the inner list, right? So in this way you can assign the names to your list elements, and you can print with the names, right? Now suppose with the help of this name you want to access the data. Okay, so first of all, suppose I'm printing the list data. So list data is, it will going to print all the list data. And then if I want to print a inner list, which is the first one, inner list, sorry, the last one. And this is what I'm printing with the help of name. So if I say this, it will print the entire inner list. Similarly, if I want to print the matrix, so it will give me the entire matrix. So in this way we can also print the elements of list by using the names. If I want to print this one quarter, so it will going to print the quarter for January, February, March, because we have given this particular first quarter as the name, right? Now suppose I want to print the inner list first element. Okay, inner list first element. So inner list is this one, and the first element is this green. So I want to pin that particular element, but with the help of name. So what I can do over there, I can write this list data, then dollar, which list you want to access with the name. So I want to access inner list, and from the inner list, which element I want to access, so that is the first element. So I'm running this. Okay, so I got this green. Then from the list data, I want to access what inner list, and from the inner list I want to access the second one. So I'm saying this, and I got that 12.3. Clear? So with the help of name also, you can access the list element, right? Need to give the proper indexing, and with the help of this dollar sign, so with the help of this dollar sign, you can access the name of that particular list, and from that list you can just specify the index number, and you will get that particular element. So now the very less time is there, only 15 minutes, let's say. So let's go ahead with different types of loops, different types of loops, and then functions. So let's go to the control structure. So here we are having the control structure, that is a looping construct. With the help of that, we can write the loops, right? We can repeat certain kind of statement multiple times. So for example, there is a for loop, and what is the syntax for this particular for loop? It's very simple. Those people who are familiar with R language, it's very similar to the C kind of language. Okay, so if you see here, for I in the range 1 is to 10, and then basically I want to repeat this particular statement. So I want to print the value of I. So with the help of this cat function, I can print it on the screen. And this for loop, this is a for loop, and which will going to repeat 1 to 10 times, unless until this condition is false, it will going to repeat this particular statement 10 times, right? So if I want to run this, so if you see here, this is being run, and we got the values from 1 to 10. So this is a for loop in this R, and this is a normal syntax. So just to show you the syntax of these loops, then we are having the while loop. So in the while loop is like this. We can write the while keyword, and then while I is less than equal to 5. Let's say I want to print the value. So I've told over there is what print I, and before doing this, you need to initialize that value. So before going inside the loop, you can always initialize the value, that is I, before that particular loop, and then you can move ahead. And in the loop, you can just increment or decrement that particular value. So till that condition is being satisfied, it will going to print the value on the screen. So let's run this. So if you see here, 1 2 3 4 5, and since this we are printing with the help of print command, so it's coming in the next line. So anyway, this is while loop, and the syntax is the similar. Okay, uh, just you need to put over there a keyword while, and then in the square, in the curly brace, you can write the code. Then there is a repeat loop. So first loop was for loop, then while loop, and then now there is a repeat loop. So repeat loop main function is also to just repeat a particular kind of statement. So it will also going to repeat. What we can do is just like a while loop, we can initialize the variable before the loop, and we can write a repeat keyword. But the repeat keyword will require break, also break condition. So it will going to repeat this particular statement, that is it will going to print the value of I, right, unless until a particular kind of condition is reached where we have written the break statement. The moment I will become 5, and this condition will be satisfied, so it will go inside this if block, and this loop will be broken, and it will come out from this particular loop. And till then the I value will be incremented by 1. So first time the I value will be 1, then second time 2, 3, 4, right? And it will going to print the values. The moment it will become 5, it will break that particular loop. So this is a repeat loop. Let me execute this. Okay, so it has executed. Now it will ask me, it has printed till 5. Yes, after printing this 5, and then it will check the condition, and since the condition is matched, and then it will break the loop. So the 6 value is not coming over there. It will going to print till 5. So these are the three looping construct: for loop, and then while loop, and then there is a repeat loop. Okay. Now let me show you some basic syntax of the functions, how we can write the functions. So the function, you know that if you want to do some specific task, okay, so for that particular purpose, you can just create a small set of code, and you can just put all that particular logic in one set of block, and that name you can give as a function, right? So the major benefit of function is you can write once and you can utilize it multiple times. So it follows write once and use it multiple times, right? Wherever you require the function, you just call that particular function, and you can just pass the parameter and your job will be done, right? So no need to write it again and again. Okay, even if it requires in 10 different kinds of programs, if you know the names of that particular function, you just call that function and your work will be done. So this is the major advantage of any function. You don't have to create that code again and again. You simply have to write once and you can use it that particular code multiple times. So it saves your time, it saves your times, it helps in the debugging. Okay. And it has major no benefits, that is not, you will not have to repeat it again and again. Just imagine that if a function is having of 1000 lines of code, and if you're not using that function as a name, and then everywhere, okay, you are utilizing that particular function, so you will have to repeat that 1000 of lines of code again and again in every program, and that itself will be a very cumbersome job, right? So nobody would like to want that particular, that kind of situation. Always we want a small sweet and short function name. Okay, just call that particular function, use it, right, and get the values. Okay, so to write the function, we are having this kind of basic syntax. For example, we can have a variable name over here. So I've created that this is the first function which will take two values, let's say x and y. That values will be going to pass to this particular function, and the job of this particular function is to return the sum of both the values. So here I would like to calculate x plus y. So it will give me the summation of x plus y, and it will return me, right? So what I've written, my sum is equal to function x comma y, and then z. In the z I have calculated this x plus y, and just remember this, the bracket is what, the curly brace. So we'll have to write this particular code in curly brace, and then I'm returning this z variable. Okay, so the name of the function is what, the function name is my sum. So the syntax is like this: write the name of the function first, then equal to, write the function keyword. So this is function keyword, and after that then put this round bracket. In round bracket, the number of parameters which you want to pass. You, that it's up to you, right? You can decide, and then you can just create that particular function. So let's execute this. Let's execute. So my sum function is being created. Now let me call that particular function. So if I want to call this particular function my sum, this function takes two parameters. So I need to pass two values to this particular function. So this 10 and comma 15, I'm passing. This 10 will go to x, and this 15 will go to y. Okay, this is the idea being. This is the idea when we are calling the function, because the number of parameters it's supposed to take, that many number of values we need to pass. So if I pass these two values, so it will take 10 and 15, and I had written the logic to just sum both the values. So it's doing the addition, and it's returning me 25 as a return value. Clear? This is the way how to we can write a function. Okay, and the first part is what, the name of the function. You put just equal to sign, and then you put a function keyword, and then after that you can just write number of parameters, and then uh, then you can just put the curly brace, and that you can write the code. Clear? The last statement will be your return statement. Now suppose I want to write a function with the three parameters. Okay, three parameters. So again the same thing. My sum is equal to function. You can take any other name, and then function keyword. And here I am passing x comma y comma z. And in this In the summation, I want to take the summation of all the three numbers. So I'm writing s arrow x plus y plus z, and I'm returning that summation. Let me run this here, and then while calling this particular function, now this function is not taking two parameters. This function is taking three parameters. So I'm passing three values. So I pass three values, and 10 plus 15, 25. 25 plus 5 is what? 30. So it's returning me 30 value. Clear? So the first function which I wrote, that function took two parameters. The second function, this is taking three parameters, right? Now let me show you. So there is one problem, okay? There is one problem that we know that the function cannot return more than one values, right? So what if, for example, if you see here, it's returning only some value from the function. In the first function also, it's returning only one value. What if I want to return multiple values from the function, which is normally it's not possible. And if we want to return multiple values from the function, we have to use some logic. So here in the case of our language, if you want to return multiple values, it's very simple. You just need to use know your object kind of data. For example, here I've used list, and whatever is the result, okay, whatever is the result I want to return, I just put those result in the list, and then simply that particular list only I will going to return. So in this way I can return multiple values from the function. Okay, which is very simple. It's up to you how many values you want to return. You can simply return it. So for example, and the function name is what, my sum is equal to function. It's taking two parameters. So in the first z I am taking x plus y, and the p I am taking x into y. Okay, so in the first z I am taking addition, in the p I am taking product, and then the result variable I'm creating as a list of sum, which is I'm putting as what, z, and then multiplication is equal to p I'm putting, so that both the values simultaneously I can return. And then simply I'm saying return result, so it will going to return the result. Okay, so it will return the result. And let me run this. Yeah, so it has run. And now let me check. So for example, if I pass 5 3, and the name of function is what, my sum 5 comma 3. So I'll just run this. If you see here, the sum, it has written what, 8, and the product multiplication, it has written what, 15. But the function name was one, only one function was there, and it's returning two values. One is addition, and second one is multiplication, which is normally not possible. A function can return only one value. So we all know that if we want to return multiple values, we have to play a little bit trick here and there, right? So in case of our language, you can utilize the object kind of data type, and you can return the multiple types of values from that particular list, right? So for example, here what I did, I created a list with